Guys, don't forget that this year we'll still have several new things coming to Dragon Ball Super, including a remake of the Beerus Saga. So leave your like because here we'll have all the news and analysis about the new changes in Dragon Ball. With that said, let's get to our new story.
Some time after the defeat of Frieza's dark form, the Grand Priest received a signal beyond the 12 universes. He stared at his staff in astonishment, immediately identifying the origin of the message. With a mix of surprise and curiosity, he informed the gods of all creation. He remarked that he couldn't remember the last time they had received communication from another realm beyond their own kingdoms. Raising his staff, Grand Priest materialized the message, revealing a familiar figure well known to the gods, Rimus, the king of everything from the fifth ring. The Grand Priest's expression softened with recognition and emotion. Rimus's message was pre-recorded, allowing only brief words of greeting and some trivial pleasantries. But then the true purpose of his message was unveiled, an announcement of a celebratory event designed for personal entertainment. In Rimus's ring, tournaments featuring the strongest mortals were frequent occurrences. This time, he proposed an extraordinary multiversal tournament. The 5 most powerful fighters from each ring would face off, including Rimus's own, with the usual 10 combatants. Naturally, this wasn't just a casual sparring, it was elevated by a high-stakes wager. The winner of the tournament would earn the right to claim any universe of their choosing, along with all its inhabitants. With the message concluded, it vanished in a flash of light, leaving an excited anticipation hanging in the air. After absorbing this information, both gods sat in stunned silence, exchanging glances loaded with surprise. Their expression quickly shifted to one of excitement. One remarked that it sounded incredibly fun, eerily reminiscent of the Tournament of Power they had recently hosted. He immediately ordered the Grand Priest to send a message confirming their participation. They couldn't wait to get the tournament underway. "Goku's going to love hearing this," he added enthusiastically. Despite the eagerness, Grand Priest harbored serious doubts about Rimus's proposal. "If I recall correctly," he began cautiously, "mortals in that ring can wield cosmic energy at will. This power is far greater than anything we've seen among the mortals of the 12 universes. Neither Goku, even in Ultra Instinct, nor Jiren, full strength, could hope to defeat a fighter tapping into that energy." He glanced at his divine scale for confirmation and noted that currently none of their mortals possessed the ability to harness cosmic energy. "We need to consider this carefully before accepting Rimus's challenge, and we must think deeply about the consequences of losing. That's a risk no one should take lightly." His warning unsettled the gods. One nodded in agreement, conceding that the difference in power might indeed be that vast. "If we lose," he said gravely, "there's the real possibility that Universe 7, where our friend Goku resides, could be claimed by the winner." The Grand Priest's concern underscored the gravity of the situation. After thinking it over for a moment, it suggested to hold an exhibition match using Mr. Rhinus's ring, just like they did with the 7th and 9th universes before starting the Tournament of Power. The purpose is to determine whether mortals across the 12 universes are ready to face opponents from different rings. Meeting Son Goku, once he experiences firsthand the thrill and challenge of fighting someone wielding cosmic ki from another multiverse, will undoubtedly fuel his desire to master this extraordinary power. The Great Priest will personally oversee training to guide him in learning how to control cosmic energy at will. This proposal excites the kings of everything. One of them exclaims how brilliant the idea is and agrees that Goku is truly exceptional. There's no doubt he could master even a greater power. Through the Great Priest, they send confirmation that exhibition matches will take place between the 5 most powerful representatives from each ring to determine the winner, on the condition that these friendly bouts happen before the official fights begin. Meanwhile, on planet Beerus, Son Goku and Vegeta are training with their respective mentors. They've made significant progress, determined to close the vast power gap left by Frieza's decade of training in the hyperbolic time chamber. Both Saiyans are acutely aware that sooner or later, Frieza will come to Earth looking to settle unfinished business. Suddenly, Whis' binoculars illuminate, pausing the training session and catching the attention of the god of destruction. He asks what's going on. Whis confirms he just received a message from the Great Priest stating he will be arriving on this planet in a matter of minutes to speak with Goku and Vegeta. Naturally, this news unsettles Beerus completely. His trademark expression of disbelief shines through as he questions if he heard correctly. The Great Priest himself is coming to his planet. Fixing his gaze at the Saiyans with obvious irritation, he asks what on earth they've done this time to prompt the Father of Angels to visit in person. The Saiyans, looking quite perplexed, assure him they have no idea, emphasizing that they have been focused solely on increasing their power here. Broly and his friends watch from a distance, curious about who this Great Priest might be. Judging by how tense Beerus is, this person must be very important. Broly remains calm, silently observing the situation, while the others nervously swallow, trying to keep their distance. Whis is also at a loss about what's happening in the heavenly realm. All they can do now is wait for the Great Priest to arrive and hear what message he brings. After a short wait, true to his word, the Great Priest appears through a shimmering portal, marking the beginning of an important encounter. On Beerus's planet, the god of destruction receives the Great Priest with a formal pose, offering a courteous welcome to the Father of the Angels, who is accompanied by Whis. Beerus responds kindly, noting that several guests are present, including Vegeta. He greets everyone and apologizes for having interrupted their training. Goku, brimming with confidence, returns the greeting warmly and says he's doing well. He then asks what it is that they wanted to discuss. Beerus's expression tightens slightly with anger at Goku's casual tone toward the Great Priest, but he remains composed and says nothing. After a brief pause, Grand Priest unfurls a parchment and informs them that they have received a message from the 5th ring, sent by a certain Mr. Rimus. This revelation shocks both Beerus and Whis, who look up in disbelief, questioning if it's true. The Saiyan warriors are equally perplexed, wondering aloud what the 5th ring means and who this Rimus could be. Naturally, Goku is the one who asks these questions. Whis, glancing at his student, explains simply that the universes we know, governed by Zen-O, form a shape roughly like a ring, called the 6th ring, which includes the 12 universes. This causes Vegeta's eyes to widen in shock, as he had believed that nothing existed beyond those 12 universes. He had always thought his own ring, the 6th one, contained all that was known. Now, with the confirmation from Whis and the Great Priest, he realizes there are entire universes beyond his understanding. Whis adds that even they don't know the exact number of existing rings, which makes sense given the infinite scale of everything involved. The great priest raises his hand to his mouth and leans forward slightly to capture everyone's attention. He admits that he hadn't expected to share such vital information so openly, but considering that Son Goku is friends with both kings and has been teaching them the delights of martial arts, it seemed fitting. Goku looks at him curiously, sensing something more to come. Grand Priest continues, revealing that Mr. Rimus has proposed a grand tournament, a battle pitting the 5 strongest fighters from each ring against one another to determine the ultimate victor in a new tournament of power. Naturally, both Beerus and the other king are thrilled by the idea of such a fierce competition and readily agree to participate. This news electrifies Goku, who reacts with astonishment at the prospect of this new challenge. Meanwhile, Beerus and Whis maintain their usual calm demeanor, quietly observing the scene. In the distance, Broly listens intently, his interest clearly piqued. Vegeta, on the other hand, displays a visible mix of surprise and excitement. Deep down, he is eager to seize this chance to test his strength against the mightiest warriors from another multiverse. Clenching his fist with vibrant enthusiasm, he contemplates the possibilities this new tournament presents, ambitions far beyond anything he had previously imagined. Drawn by his growing curiosity, the Saiyan prince steps closer to the great priest and prepares to ask more, eager to learn everything he can about this extraordinary new development. There are also 12 universes within that ring, the great priest interjects to correct Vegeta's assumption, raising a finger to clarify that the other rings don't necessarily contain the same number of universes. On this occasion, he reveals that the 5th ring currently contains 34 universes. This revelation plunges the atmosphere into a heavy silence. It's a stark contrast to what the Saiyans had speculated. The number of universes in this ring far exceeds even the hopes of Son Goku. Previously, there were 18 universes, and even that was a significant difference. However, Grand Priest points out that the quantity of universes isn't the crucial factor. What truly matters is the existence of highly powerful warriors, combatants who exist on an entirely different level than those the Saiyans are accustomed to. Because of this, he proposes holding an exhibition match where 3 warriors from each ring will participate in a battle system similar to the one they used against Champa's universe. The purpose is to gauge the difference in strength between the universes. Grand Priest intends to select the 3 most prominent fighters from the Tournament of Power, naming Son Goku and Vegeta as 2 of them from Universe 7. Whis quickly deduces that since there will be 3 fighters, Jiren must be involved in the exhibition match as well. The Saiyans exchanged excited glances at this statement, recalling the overwhelming power of Universe 11's strongest warrior from the last tournament. Grand Priest confirmed their guess, announcing that the 3rd member representing Universe 7 will be Jiren of Universe 11 himself. It makes perfect sense. They want to bring their best warriors forward. The emphasis on the obvious vast gap in power levels catches the Saiyans' attention. They wonder aloud just how large this gap could be. Grand Priest then reveals that the fighters from the 5th ring will in fact be wielders of cosmic energy. This revelation shocks Beerus, who suddenly stands from his seated position. Goku and Vegeta, intrigued by Grand Priest's statement, lean in, eager to understand what is meant by cosmic energy. Whis steps in to provide the explanation, describing the terrifying reality the Saiyans will face. He explains that there exists a form of energy beyond divine ki, referred to as cosmic ki, which is a primordial energy sourced directly from the cosmos itself. This energy is only accessible to those who grasp the concept of non-existence, able to connect even with the void that existed before creation. Those who harness this cosmic energy can perform extraordinary techniques rooted in the cosmic origin of their power. Whis' somewhat technical explanation only serves to deepen the Saiyan's curiosity as they struggle to grasp the scope of mastering such a force. They understand only one thing for certain: their opponents will be operating on a level far beyond anything they've ever faced, including Frieza in his current condition. Grand Priest adds that, in theory, that would be all for his part, as he revealed that the exhibition tournament would be held within 25 Earth hours. He then left Whis in charge to explain the new power scale theory, disappearing in a dimensional portal for all to see. Beerus slowly rose, visibly stressed by the situation, blaming Goku for suggesting to the Grand Priest that such a tournament be organized. Goku defended himself by pointing out that Beerus was also to blame. After all, the Grand Priest first discovered martial arts thanks to the tournament organized by Champa. Beerus, frustrated, reminded Goku that the Grand Priest had actually forgotten about that event until Goku had to remind him. As the two argued, Broly clenched his fists tightly. Chalai nervously asked if everything would really be okay. The cosmic energy involved seemed incredibly important, but also dangerous. She glanced at Broly, who appeared restless, especially since he wouldn't be participating in this upcoming tournament. Meanwhile, Vegeta's thoughts wandered to the existence of countless universes, many beyond even the knowledge of the angels and the Grand Priest. It was an inevitable and somewhat philosophical reflection, but he quickly pulled himself back to reality. Right now, there was no time to ponder such things. Instead, he remembered that his opponents would represent the fifth ring, composed of 34 universes. Approaching Whis, Vegeta asked for more information about the cosmic energy. Both Beerus and Goku stopped their argument to listen as Whis prepared to explain. With his hand raised to his mouth in thought, Whis searched for the simplest way to describe this power scale to his students. He started with the concept of ki as an individual's energy. This basic energy is called mortal ki. Above that exists a superior energy source used by the gods of destruction, known as divine ki. There's a substantial gap between mortal ki and divine ki, an energy imperceptible to those who cannot control it. But cosmic ki, or cosmic ki, exists at an even higher level beyond divine ki. Unlike mortal ki, which manifests as vital energy, cosmic ki users operate on a more primordial plane. They can control energy that sustains the very fabric of reality. The omnipotent ability to erase universes, wielded by the Grand Priest, and the power to create universes, demonstrated by the Grand Minister Rimus, are also based on cosmic energy. Angels, including the Grand Priest, are capable of manipulating this cosmic energy at will. Of course, mortals who can use cosmic energy don't reach these divine levels. However, access to this power allows them to develop skills far beyond Ultra Instinct or even God of Destruction power. After hearing this concise but profound explanation, to help Goku better grasp what they were up against, Lewis set aside the complex technical jargon and explained more plainly. Sweat formed in small beads on his brow as he stood beside Vegeta, who looked equally stunned, his belief that his own training represented the pinnacle of power, now shaken. Lewis decided it was time to burst this bubble. He revealed that while Ultra Instinct is indeed a high-level technique, it is a state one can maintain continuously without conscious effort. He went on to explain that Ultra Instinct is considered the ultimate form of power for those who manipulate godly ki, but to those who command cosmic ki, it's just one among many abilities. Vegeta crossed his arms, absorbing the weight of this revelation. He acknowledged that this kind of power couldn't be underestimated. If their opponents could wield cosmic energy at will, then theoretically they might be able to learn how to master it themselves, just as they had with divine ki.
Meanwhile, Beerus, still seated and quietly listening to the exchange,
ordered Lewis to transport Goku and Vegeta to that mysterious place using his baculum. His aim was to catch the angel off guard. Curious and a bit concerned, Lewis asked if they would really be okay. Beerus assured him it would only be for half a second, that they wouldn't be harmed from touching a fraction of cosmic ki. This piqued the curiosity of the Saiyans, prompting them to ask what place Beerus was referring to. With a reluctant sigh, Lewis obeyed, raising his baculum and enveloping Goku and Vegeta's bodies. In an instant, they vanished, only to reappear seconds later, their forms visibly drained and exhausted, barely able to move. From a distance, Chidai called out, puzzled, asking what had happened. Goku described the experience as deeply unsettling, explaining how he struggled to adapt even by moving small joints. Vegeta, in the same state and gasping for breath, tried to convey a sensation that was impossible to fully articulate. For a moment, he couldn't see or feel anything, but at the same time, he could see and feel everything. Yet the flood of information in his mind was incomplete and overwhelming. He was certain that if he had stayed there any longer, he would have lost his sanity without question. Beerus then explained that they had been sent to the Void, a place where the purest manifestation of cosmic energy exists. It's an environment that forces anyone residing there to awaken that immense power. In other words, Goku and Vegeta briefly became wielders of cosmic ki, but they had not yet mastered it. Beerus himself admitted that he had attempted to control this energy ages ago, but it was impossible. Even for him and the other gods of destruction, understanding the nature of the cosmos remained an incredibly complex challenge. Struggling to stand, Goku looked toward his teacher and asked a pointed question. If the Grand Priest wanted them to gain experience fighting users of cosmic ki before the tournament, why didn't Lewis himself simply use cosmic energy to spar with them? At least then, Goku reasoned, they could get a better sense of the level they needed to reach. They discussed the type of combat that will be showcased in the exhibition tournament, but Whis explains that tapping into that level of power would no longer be just simple training. The moment one releases cosmic energy during a fight, it means they're truly serious, and that could lead to consequences, like disappearing just as Maris did. Hearing this, Goku recalls the time he trained with the Angel's apprentice and how he mentioned that fighting seriously would be interrupted by Whis. He wonders if Maris had actually unleashed his cosmic ki at that moment. Whis confirms that he did. This leads Goku to piece things together, remembering how Maris neutralized Moro's abilities with his staff before vanishing. He asks if those powers were also fueled by cosmic ki. Whis again affirms, noting that Goku deduced it quite well. To seal the techniques that made Moro nearly invincible, Maris had to tap into his cosmic ki for his final mission, to make things easier for his disciple. Despite how dire the situation seemed, Goku can't help but feel excited at the thought that there's still a long road ahead to becoming even stronger. He shows the same enthusiasm as when facing that kind of opponent, wondering how powerful others could become with cosmic ki. Determined, he vows to give it his all in the arena, recalling that the strongest fighters from Universe 11 will also participate in the tournament. He's eager to see how much they've improved since their last encounter. Meanwhile, Vegeta can't hide his own excitement, but he remains critical, processing all the new information at once. Undoubtedly, this will be a complicated battle, but he's eager to test the limits of his own skills. He looks forward to meeting those who can wield that cosmic power at will, fueled by genuine enthusiasm. And so, on the eve of a new tournament featuring the mightiest warriors from the 5th and 6th universes, they learn the roster of participants. Everyone prepares both physically and mentally for the upcoming exhibition matches set to take place within 24 hours. From a distance, Broly expresses his desire to join the tournament as well. After hearing this, Whis assures the Saiyan mutant that there's nothing to worry about. This is just an exhibition to gauge the power difference between the two universes. The date for the real battle remains unknown, but it's clear they'll need the strongest fighters. Of course, Whis hopes to have Broly's help when that day comes. Exactly 24 hours after the Grand Priest's last message, Whis raises his staff, signaling that they're ready to strike the palace of the Grand Minister. The Grand Priest confirms, channeling a mantle of energy that envelops the Saiyans, including Broly, who will attend as a spectator this time, accompanied by Whis and Beerus, the god of destruction, who's quite curious about the type of opponents they'll face. Upon arriving at the palace of the Grand Priest, the Saiyans immediately sense the overwhelming presence of the strongest warrior from Universe 11. Indeed, Jiren was already there, accompanied by his god of destruction, Beerus. This surprised Goku, who cautiously approached Jiren and greeted him quietly by name. Jiren returned the greeting in kind. This brief exchange marked a significant improvement from their first encounter, though they still remained men of few words. Analyzing Jiren's aura, Goku could tell without a doubt that he had grown much stronger since their last meeting. The anticipation to face him ignited a spark within him, which did not go unnoticed by Whis. With a knowing smile, Whis tightened his fist and commented that Goku was no longer the same fighter he once was. Goku laughed confidently and hinted that Jiren would be surprised to see how much he had evolved in the recent years. Before the moment could deepen, Belmod, the god of destruction of Universe 11, bearing a serious expression, studied his best warrior's behavior carefully. In his mind, he found it astonishing that Jiren would acknowledge Son Goku by name. Then Belmod loudly declared that, unfortunately for Goku, his opponents in this tournament would be others. Seizing the opportunity, one voice rang out loudly, blaming Universe 7 for always dragging them into troublesome situations. Beerus, clearly agitated, nearly shouted back that this time his universe had no part. In this occasion, it was the Grand Priest himself who had organized the tournament. As he stared at the palace, he felt a strange sensation stirring within him, wondering if his own opponents had already arrived. After several moments, the Grand Priest opened the doors and cordially welcomed everyone, apologizing for the delay. The group entered the palace and walked slowly down the corridor. At its end, they spotted 4 figures waiting. The Saiyans wondered if these were their opponents. Yet the newcomers didn't appear nearly as extravagant as one might expect from beings from another universe. Still, the Saiyans maintained a cautious watch. Suddenly, one of the figures manifested right beside Goku with remarkable speed, exclaiming that they hardly looked extravagant at all. The sudden appearance shocked all the newcomers and even caught the gods of destruction off guard. In their thoughts, they marveled at how fast this individual was. They hadn't even noticed the moment he moved.
This swift newcomer greeted his opponents warmly, extending a hand toward Goku and expressing his excitement at meeting the strongest fighter in the ring. Goku reciprocated the enthusiasm, eager to battle as soon as possible. Vegeta, however, thought it was silly, but kept a sharp eye on the newcomer. When he found the stranger at his side, Vegeta asked how he had moved so fast, suspecting it was some ability fueled by cosmic energy. Jiren, likewise impressed at having missed the movement, lowered his arms. Observing carefully, he realized these new opponents were completely different from anyone he had faced before. They were in a league of their own, unlike any foes he had encountered until now. Thus, are these the users of the cosmic key the Great Priest mentioned? No, it's something beyond that. They haven't even unleashed their true power yet. As he spoke, his gaze fixed on a figure different from the rest, one without visible eyes, and whose voice was peculiar, as if multiple voices spoke simultaneously. Next to him stood another figure, noticeably smaller and visibly nervous, almost eager to leave as quickly as possible. The smaller figure muttered anxiously that he shouldn't have come this far, showing a fear of fighting. At last, he directed his attention to the god who accompanied them, a divine presence starkly different from that of the angels and the great priest. Approaching the king of all, who was standing alongside the god of Universe 5, he surveyed his warriors and greeted them warmly, giving special acknowledgement to Son Goku. Goku casually raised his hand in greeting, as informal as always. This caught the attention of Rimus, the king of Universe 5, who stepped forward and addressed Goku directly. "So, you must be Goku. I've heard quite a bit about you," Rimus said, though it surprised him to find two Saiyans here. Goku, in turn, was surprised by how small Rimus was, wondering out loud if all kings were this size. Rimus responded with a smile and an informal wave, replying, "It's a long story." The mortals of Universe 5, observing Rimus's confident manner toward his god, grew uneasy. One of them approached Goku, sternly warning him to show more respect. "You need to understand that you're speaking to the supreme deity of this world," the mortal scolded, raising her voice. Her hand reached out, conjuring a cube that emitted a subtle gravitational pull, gently drawing Goku closer. Goku looked at the cube in confusion, wondering what it was. Rimus immediately intervened, his tone serious. "Lower your hand. If you don't, it won't be you who disappears, but you." The mortal, appearing almost blind to the command, reluctantly lowered her hand. The cube and its gravitational effect vanished. She then quickly apologized for her impudence. Both Vegeta and Jiren watched with astonishment. Could that cube be a manifestation of Rimus's cosmic power? Senno-sama stepped forward to Goku, breaking the tension hanging over the group. "I arranged this confrontation for you and your friends," he explained calmly. "This is just an exhibition tournament, but I ask that you all give your all in battle." Goku's face lit up with enthusiasm. Clenching his fists, he expressed deep gratitude to Senno-sama. "I'm so excited to get these fights started," he exclaimed. This brought a faint smile to the mysterious figure who'd unsettled them moments ago. He mused quietly, "This one is quite interesting after all." Without further ado, Grand Priest announced that all participants had gathered. He revealed that the combat area was ready. Raising his hand, he began transferring the uninvited, or rather all of them, to the arena. One by one, they landed in their respective spots. Goku looked around and immediately recognized the place. This was the setting where the Universe 7 warriors clashed, but Universe 9 felt something entirely different in the atmosphere, an overwhelming power that defied all logic. It was as if the very place was crafted to sustain such unimaginable strength. All the gods of destruction from each universe within the Tournament of Power stage, known as the Ring of Senno, stood together, eagerly anticipating this grand exhibition. The gods and their accompanying angels exchanged words, eyes locked firmly on the fighters representing their universes, watching intently for any sign of unexpected moves or hidden strength. One fighter approached the arena's edge, declaring confidently that he would be the first to fight. With a wide smile, he jumped onto the battleground, stretching casually but clearly urging the opposing team to select their first combatant quickly. The gods of destruction, sensitive to the tiniest shifts in energy, were immediately alerted. This new fighter exuded a presence unlike anything they had sensed before, an ominous energy that felt like a calamity teetering on the brink of erupting. Unlike the familiar Saiyans, whose power they could usually gauge, this new warrior's aura was unsettling and difficult to read. With tension thick in the air, the competitors prepared to decide the opening match through a game of rock, paper, scissors. The winner was none other than the Earth-raised Saiyan, who celebrated enthusiastically, much to the irritation of Vegeta. Crossing his arms and wearing a stoic expression, Vegeta watched with a critical eye, anticipating a strong performance from his eternal rival. Without hesitation, the victorious Saiyan leaped boldly into the center of the arena, ready to fight. Meanwhile, Jiren observed with surprise how intensely emotional the Saiyans from Universe 7 were. It reminded him of when he first faced them during the Tournament of Power. Both seemed energized and excited at the prospect of battle. The passion and determination radiating from the Saiyan fighters only heightened the tension, signaling that this tournament would be unlike any before. Goku locked in for round 2. Despite the vast difference in power, Goku carefully observed, eager to see just how strong this Saiyan had become since their last encounter. As soon as Goku landed on the battlefield, he began to stretch, his excitement palpable, ready to start the fight as soon as possible. However, in his mind, he noticed something unusual. He couldn't sense any ki presence coming from his opponent. It reminded him of the situation against Universe 9, but with one critical difference. Here, there was no disturbing pressure lingering in the atmosphere. There was no doubt this opponent was unlike anyone Goku had ever faced before. If he didn't fight seriously from the opening moment, he would unquestionably lose. Taking a firm stance, Goku's eyes suddenly shone with a brilliant light radiating the distinct aura of Ultra Instinct, which naturally surprised the gods of destruction. To see a mortal access this state at will was unprecedented. Jiren, on the other hand, was completely unfazed by Goku's mastery of Ultra Instinct. He had anticipated such a feat all along. Yet, despite his calm demeanor, Jiren's expression showed more bewilderment and subtle disappointment than surprise. He muttered, incredulously pondering to himself, "A Saiyan, seriously? Wasting a transformation just to contain a power like Ultra Instinct?" Those words caught Goku off guard. "What did you just say?" he demanded, intensifying his fighting stance, convinced that this warrior was underestimating him. "You're about to find out what I'm really capable of." Hearing this, Jiren, known here as Kaizen, smiled, admiring the Saiyan's fiery spirit. Determined to give Goku a chance to prove his words, he assumed a combat stance strikingly similar to Goku's own. Noticing this, Goku's curiosity piqued, a spark of intrigue flickering within him. The Grand Priest, observing both fighters now ready, stepped forward to introduce the match. The first fight, Goku, representing the Ring of the Grand Minister, versus Kaizen from the Ring of Mr. Ramus. Raising his hand, he signaled the start of the battle. "All right," Goku exclaimed with enthusiasm, preparing to launch the first attack. But the moment he moved, he froze, completely paralyzed in place. What's happening? He wondered, an intense pressure emanating from Kaizen immobilizing him. Every fiber of his being, sharpened by Ultra Instinct, was screaming that surrendering now was the only sensible choice. Kaizen murmured in a low voice, "Your Ultra Instinct is impressive after all," teasing the Saiyan with a confident smile. "What is it? I was expecting you to attack by now." Goku couldn't believe it. In a swift realization, he acknowledged that trying to move in this moment was futile. The power gap was so immense that even Ultra Instinct couldn't give him the edge against Kaizen. The mere attempt to advance left him completely frozen. As if his body were instinctively pulling back, Son Goku surprised even the gods watching, who wondered what was happening to the Saiyan raised on Earth. Closing his eyes, Goku relaxed his body and shifted into a variant of Ultra Instinct, one that allows him to fight while embracing his emotions.
His aura flared once again, reaching the same level he had exhibited during his gas battle, transforming his appearance and leaving the spectators puzzled. Many asked themselves why he had chosen to use a lower version of Ultra Instinct. Luis, equally surprised by what he had just witnessed, clarified the situation. He explained that the power gap was so vast that the perfect Ultra Instinct did not permit Goku to attack directly. There was no margin for offensive or defensive openings. Vulnerable to his opponent's overwhelming superiority, Goku's best option was to retreat, freezing the Saiyan in a moment of hesitation despite his instinct to do the opposite. It was a wise decision, relinquishing full Ultra Instinct and embracing the emotional variant to engage in this battle. Goku glanced at his father and commented that now he understood the true purpose of the tournament. His words, coming from the angel, left everyone present uneasy, wondering just how powerful a warrior must be to master such an advanced technique as Ultra Instinct. All eyes were fixated, eager and apprehensive about what might unfold next. Sweat dripped from Goku's brow as he prepared to launch his first attack. A fleeting blink revealed his opponent already standing before him in an instant, taunting him for being too slow. Surprised but undeterred, Goku struck out, only for Akasa's copy to effortlessly block the blow. Frustrated, Goku unleashed a rapid barrage of attacks, but Kaizen deflected them all without yielding an inch. Forced to retreat, Goku quickly gathered multiple waves of energy and fired them at his opponent. The blasts were deflected easily, ricocheting against the barrier surrounding the platform and creating multiple explosions that formed a thick, intense smoke curtain. With a powerful surge, Kaizen dispersed the smoke with his own energy and, spotting Goku momentarily vulnerable, launched a counterattack. Goku felt a strange sensation as he landed hard on the platform. He raised his gaze, hearing brief words behind him, questioning if this really was all the Sixth Universe's strongest warrior could do. Turning just in time, Goku was struck again, a solid blow to the face, sending him hurtling back into the barrier. He dropped to his knees, stunned and unable to rise from the impact. Wiping the blood trickling down his face, Goku muttered that it was only 2 hits, yet he already felt immobilized, if it weren't for the tournament rules. During the tournament, it was clear that if Goku hadn't dodged that last attack, he would have lost his life. He faced his opponent, who remained unnervingly calm, his eyes glowing with the unmistakable aura of Ultra Instinct. This display bewildered the gods of destruction watching from above. They began to question whether this fighter was merely a mortal. To their astonishment, he seemed to surpass even them in power, a thought that stunned the Kais after witnessing this initial encounter. One even remarked that even Goku was struggling, noting that this mysterious fighter named Kaizen had also unleashed the glow of Ultra Instinct. Ramus acknowledged him as one of his favorites, undoubtedly one of his most powerful warriors. It was no surprise that Kaizen was dominating the battle, especially since Goku was expending all of his energy just to maintain the Ultra Instinct technique, while Kaizen wielded it with far greater potency, enhanced by his unique cosmic ability. After carefully analyzing the fight, the Grand Priest, Taishin Khan, commented that Kaizen indeed was using Ultra Instinct. From what he could deduce, Kaizen's cosmic ability enabled him to reflect and counter his opponent's techniques. However, Ramus quickly corrected this observation. The ability Kaizen was using, rooted in his cosmic energy, was called Resonance. Resonance is a skill divided into 3 distinct categories, each manifesting its power differently depending on the opponent's abilities. When Kaizen faces an adversary significantly stronger than himself, Resonance elevates his power to match their level, enabling him to battle on a much fairer footing regardless of the power gap. This resonance operates on two fronts. It amplifies the opponent's strength and also syncs his own power with theirs, allowing him to replicate any ability with perfect precision, 100% accuracy, as seen when he copied Ultra Instinct. The only drawback of this technique is that when trying to enhance his powers to match weaker fighters, Resonance inadvertently lowers his strength to meet theirs. This was exactly the case in his match against Goku. Ramus observed the displeasure on Kaizen's face, noting how frustrated he was with the match's outcome. Kaizen's patience with a weaker opponent was remarkable, especially given how much he disliked fighting anyone beneath him, a frustration born from his technique's inherent nature. Despite the blow, Goku struggled to get back up on his feet. He acknowledged that there was no doubt this fighter was unlike anyone he had ever faced, probably operating at Frieza's level or even beyond. A smile crept back onto his face as he recalled the sensation clearly. It reminded him of when he first fought Beerus, the god of destruction, on King Kai's planet. Back then, Goku had no idea just how vast the power gap between them was. He wasn't anywhere near being a worthy opponent to the god of destruction. And even now, despite all the power he had gained, he found himself in the same daunting position. Steeling himself, Goku braced himself to give his all, as if his very life depended on it, preparing to channel a massive amount of energy. A surge of energy burst forth, unleashing a power that stunned everyone present, including Kaizen. He questioned whether Goku truly wanted to keep fighting, despite how futile his efforts seemed. Accepting this final gesture from Goku, Kaizen assumed a combat stance, concentrating all his energy in the palm of his hand. Manifesting his signature technique, he shouted the name of the Kamehameha and released a massive energy wave towards Kaizen. Kaizen made a subtle movement, clashing his hands against the oncoming energy wave in an effort to stop it. But as he felt himself being pulled by this force, he executed his resonance technique at its second level. He mirrored the energy with an even greater power, reflecting the Kamehameha back at the Saiyan, much to Goku's surprise. Goku was hit fully by his own Kamehameha blast, losing consciousness and collapsing to the ground, completely defeated before Kaizen.
Kaizen's expression remained neutral as he remarked on just how weak the supposedly strongest warrior of the ring turned out to be. He then looked out at the stunned spectators, who could barely utter a word after witnessing such an outcome. Grand Priest stepped forward to officially announce the end of the first battle, declaring Kaizen the winner of the fifth ring, to the surprise of everyone present. Both Vegeta and Jiren stood in astonishment at the result of this fight. Vegeta remarked that the opponent had returned the Kamehameha with even greater power, wondering aloud what this meant. Without hesitation, he sprang into the arena, ready to engage. Jiren, meanwhile, was less shocked by the outcome of the first encounter, but questioned whether Goku had truly been defeated so easily. Vegeta rushed over to assist Goku, offering him a Senzu bean as he examined Goku's condition. He noted that if this battle had been anything other than a demonstration match, Kakarot might have lost his life from that last devastating attack. After administering the bean, Goku managed to open his eyes and immediately asked what had happened. Realizing he had lost, he found the situation incredible. Even Vegeta seemed surprised. Goku asked if Vegeta was truly aware of their situation, glancing toward the Supreme Kais, who wore somewhat grim expressions. Meanwhile, the other Kai seemed upbeat, commenting that Son Goku was indeed very skillful, but if this loss represented the strongest warrior of the sixth universe had to offer, then the upcoming fights might not be as exciting after all. Kakarot had expected more from the universes under Senno-sama's jurisdiction and wondered aloud whether it was really worth challenging one of these universes.
The Supreme Kais exchanged serious looks and reassured him not to worry. They promised that during the official tournament, Goku would show a very different performance from what had just been witnessed. They implored everyone not to underestimate their fighters. Raimus, looking surprised, questioned if they truly had so much faith in warriors of this caliber. His gaze shifted to Goku, who was now noticeably recovered after the last brutal attack, and nodded, mentioning that they had access to pretty powerful healing methods. Beerus, visibly worried, commented that Senno-sama had a fairly sinister look. Wondering if they'll be okay after this tournament, Vegito watches as Goku calmly approaches the platform. The calmness in Goku's demeanor seems out of character for the Saiyan, so Vegeta approaches him and asks if he truly understands the gravity of the situation. Goku had just suffered a crushing defeat against that opponent, yet he remains so composed. Goku, with a hand resting casually on his head, admits that he never really had a chance from the start. The opponent's power far exceeded all his expectations. He never imagined warriors this strong could exist. Goku recalls Kaizen's words, who once told him he was wasting his potential by holding back a power such as Ultra Instinct within his evolutionary capabilities. Vegeta wonders what Kaizen might have meant by that, recalling the angel's explanation that Ultra Instinct isn't merely a transformation. Curious, Vegeta approaches Whis and asks if there are more Saiyans in Universe 9, Raimu's universe, which prompts Whis to affirm that it's very likely. The prince is visibly surprised to learn that Saiyans exist beyond the 12 universes. He demands to know why this knowledge is relevant to the Saiyans. After Goku's defeat, the Grand Priest raises his hand, instantly reconstructing the arena in a single fluid motion. Then he announced the beginning of the second match and called for the next challenger to face the representative from Ring 5. Vegeta is eager to test his newfound strength against this opponent. However, it is the strongest fighter from Universe 11 who advances to the stage, much to Vegeta's surprise. He didn't expect this competitor to take the initiative to fight, even surprising the Universe 11's clown-like character. Looking over at Beerus, the god of destruction for Universe 7, the Universe 11 fighter mentions that he hopes there won't be any issues with Beerus concerning his participation in the second bout. Beerus sees this as a chance to learn more about this mysterious warrior. He then signals to Vegeta, who crosses his arms, showing some disinterest, but still curious to observe how this warrior has improved, much like Goku himself. Goku, on the other hand, is visibly excited to witness such a fight. Gideon steps up silently to face his opponent. He says not a word, instead studying him carefully and analyzing every detail. Feeling an overwhelming and indescribable pressure radiating from the opponent, Gideon admits that now he understands why Goku couldn't defeat him. This is a fighter unlike anyone he's ever faced. Vegeta is busy overcoming Mr. Bermuda, seeing this moment as an excellent opportunity to test the results of years of training, eager to prove what it means to face a worthy opponent. Meanwhile, Kaizen doesn't sense anything particularly extraordinary from his own opponent. Thinking back to the previous Saiyan who was the strongest in this ring, logically he isn't expecting anyone stronger to come from among the high school fighters. Looking over at Mr. Raimu, he questions whether he was truly serious when he invited them to fight such powerful beings. He glances at his companions and wonders if any of them want to take on their matches. The atmosphere grew tense as the figure resembling an Enderman flatly stated his disinterest, while his companion trembled nervously, stammering about how things might worsen. His terrifying face struck fear in the room. Taking a deep breath, Kaizen steeled himself, determined to end this battle quickly and bring the event to a decisive close once and for all. The Grand Priest, observing that both warriors were ready, calmly raised his hand. Without hesitation, he signaled the start of the tournament's second exhibition match. Instantly, the more powerful warrior unleashed an overwhelming surge of energy, surprising everyone, especially Goku. This display showed remarkable progress since they last witnessed such raw power in the Tournament of Power. The energy was so dense and intense that it threatened to burn the Saiyans around him. Goku muttered in disbelief, "This is insane." It was clear that Jiren would be stronger than before, but not to this astonishing degree. Yet Kaizen remained unfazed, his expression relaxed as he carefully observed the spectacle the Martian was creating. He let out a slight groan, noting mentally that this opponent was no different from the previous Saiyan he faced. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open, detecting a powerful pressure building around him. He quickly rose to his feet, catching Jiren off guard, who frowned with irritation. This guy can focus his own energy at a pinpoint, Kaizen thought. He intensified the spatial pressure, narrowing his gaze on a specific spot. Looking upwards, he saw his opponent had already taken strategic position. Jiren unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, but Kaizen expertly dodged them with blinding speed. Suddenly, Kaizen appeared behind him, a move Jiren had anticipated and countered with a ferocious attack. Kaizen blocked it with ease, visibly impressed. "He has remarkable vision to follow my moves this well," Kaizen acknowledged, as he landed a powerful blow that sent Jiren crashing into the ground, kicking up a cloud of smoke. The smoke cleared instantly as Jiren expelled his energy once again, revealing he was already standing before Kaizen. The two clashed with ferocity, exchanging a relentless storm of attacks across the platform, leaving everyone watching in awe. Goku couldn't help but exclaim, "Jiren is truly incredible."
Kaizen studied his opponent's technique, somewhat surprised. This warrior exhibited perfect control over his own energy, making him an excellent candidate to break through his limits. He wondered just how powerful Jiren could become wielding cosmic ki. Gathering his strength, Kaizen launched a powerful strike that forced the Pride Trooper to retreat cautiously, clearly on guard. Kaizen noted quietly, "He's already activated his movement." Suddenly, Kaizen's aura began to glow with a reddish hue, similar to Jiren's. The crowd gasped in surprise, recalling the same glow Jiren had displayed just before his Ultra Instinct breakthrough in the previous battle. The Saiyans exchanged confused looks, prompting them to ask for an explanation about the strange power this fighter possessed. At that moment, Whis stepped forward and calmly began to explain, having received messages from the Grand Priest. He provided context on the nature of this energy and introduced the concept of resonance, revealing how it could amplify a warrior's abilities beyond their natural limits, and how it transforms him into a fearsome adversary. Kaizen displayed a semblance of power that directly challenged Jiren, leaving many eager to see what he would do and what he was truly capable of in this situation. But to everyone's surprise, this warrior simply relaxed his combat stance, closed his eyes, and crossed his arms, quietly stating that he gave up, he'd had enough, and wanted to abandon the fight. This stunned everyone present. Vermouth nearly fainted on hearing those words from his strongest warrior, while a pair of gods of destruction watched from a distance, visibly astonished. The great priest then declared the second fight over, crowning Kaizen of the Sixth Universe as the winner yet again. Goku could hardly believe it. He was more than surprised to see that Jiren had surrendered. But Vegeta, noticing Goku's shock, reminded him with a smirk,
What's with the surprised face? Didn't you give up against Cell once? Goku justified his past by explaining that he never truly believed Cell was defeated at that time. His gaze returned to the arena where he saw Kaizen approaching Jiren with a somewhat friendly expression, complimenting him on an excellent fight. It was clear how excited Kaizen was to witness his own new evolution in the official tournament, much to Goku's surprise, who listened intently. Jiren, meanwhile, withdrew silently without uttering a word, clearly having had more than enough after witnessing firsthand Kaizen's skills. Did he have any idea how to access cosmic energy? Jiren showed no sign of wanting to speak, not even to his god of destruction. A subtle smile crossed Kaizen, confirming to the Saiyan's suspicions that Jiren had no clue what it truly meant to master cosmic energy. Goku felt like he'd wasted his last fight by not grasping the essence of cosmic ki mastery. Vegeta, ever blunt, called him a hollow head. It was never in his plans to understand cosmic energy, Vegeta remarked. He just wanted to see how strong these guys really were. Turning his attention to the other two who remained indifferent and unimpressed by the pathetic level of combat they displayed compared to Kaizen, Vegeta decided to show them how wrong they were. He stepped directly into the arena, preparing to face the fearsome opponent that had forced even Ultra Instinct to retreat, and made Jiren, the fighter who fought fiercely till the very end of the Tournament of Power, give up this match. Well, this is just an exhibition tournament meant to give an idea of what it means to wield cosmic ki, the great priest explained as he raised his arms, signaling the start of the third and final fight. Vegeta remained cautious, pointing out that Kaizen was still far from unleashing his true power. So far, he'd only tapped into a fraction of what cosmic energy truly represented. He recalled Whistledel's explanation about resonance and the great priest's words on how it worked, noting with a slight knowing smile in his mind that the technique was very similar to his own. This realization even surprised Kaizen, who asked if he, in the heat of battle, there's hardly time to laugh. As Vegeta senses the sand beneath him begin to vibrate, stirred by the immense energy of his adversary, he knows he has to give it his all from the very start. His goal is clear: to understand what it truly means to fight against a user of cosmic ki. The chaotic aura this enemy radiates even catches Jiren by surprise, who remarks how remarkably similar this fighter is to Toppo. It's clear that Vegeta has grown significantly stronger since their last meeting. At last, Vegeta unveils his most powerful form, a transformation fueled by the energy of destruction. Kaizen, watching intently, is taken aback, acknowledging that there are indeed some fascinating opponents here. He asks, intriguingly, if Vegeta is a student of one of the gods of destruction, noting the unmistakable resemblance in his power. But Vegeta quickly clarifies that he's still far from mastering destruction energy like they do. Though this is his personal variation, if Kaizen assumes this is Vegeta's limit, he's sorely mistaken. Without hesitation, Vegeta launches himself directly at Kaizen, eager to test and measure this opponent's abilities. What follows is an intense exchange of furious attacks, one blow after another clashing across the platform. Kaizen blocks each of Vegeta's blasts with relative ease, sensing that this adversary is not quite at the level of his previous challengers. Yet strangely, Kaizen speaks with unwavering confidence, believing himself to be the most powerful warrior present. He even deliberately leaves openings in his defense, almost as if daring Vegeta to hit him. Seizing the opportunity, Kaizen lands a devastating strike squarely on Vegeta's face. The Saiyan is sent flying, crashing hard against the barriers crafted by the Grand Priest. Kaizen notes that Vegeta appears to be one of those proud fighters who demand proof of strength through combat. Furious, he charges at the prince with a speed far beyond Vegeta's reaction time. Though Vegeta struggles to recover from the last blow, he narrowly dodges another attack that triggers a powerful explosion. In the blink of an eye, the Akasa copy has closed the distance, unleashing a rapid barrage of punishing strikes. Vegeta wonders if this is truly all Kaizen can offer. Gathering strength, he charges up a blow capable of ending the fight. But just as he releases it, Kaizen is caught off guard by a swift counterattack. A solid punch from Vegeta connects cleanly to Kaizen's face, pushing him back. This shocks everyone watching. None had expected Vegeta to be the first to inflict damage on the warrior from the fifth ring. Kaizen recovers quickly, eyeing Vegeta, who looks beaten but defiant. He asks incredulously how Vegeta can still move with such wounds. Vegeta simply smiles and responds with pride that breaking his defenses first was no small feat. He even compliments Kaizen, admitting it was a mistake to underestimate him. Yet Kaizen makes it clear he is something entirely different. Suddenly, he unleashes an aura strikingly similar to that of the gods of destruction. Beerus leans forward, commenting, "Here it comes, the moment this guy begins using cosmic energy." Everyone watches with tense anticipation, wondering if Vegeta can withstand the onslaught of these godly attacks. Vegeta feels the raw intensity of this energy firsthand and admits it's completely different from merely witnessing it from the sidelines. The battle has reached a new level. Kaizen, who describes himself as a monster, feels a blow he hadn't anticipated, struck squarely in the stomach. He collapses to the ground, losing his transformed state to everyone's shock. Even Vegeta, who counterattacked, is completely defeated with a single strike. Kaizen stands in front of the Saiyan, explaining his cosmic ability that lets him increase his power based on his opponent's strength, making it advantageous to face the strongest foes. But in his case, it works quite differently and far less effectively. To gain power and match his adversary, he must absorb damage and convert it into fuel, turning every battle into a test of endurance. The question remains, what happens if he encounters an enemy far stronger than himself? Vegeta manages to stay conscious and recalls how Frieza used the exact same tactic against him, instantly knocking him out. He notes that Kaizen's technique is too risky and nearly useless against much more powerful opponents. Kaizen admits he has a long way to go. Still, he is somewhat surprised that anyone unable to command cosmic energy at will was able to hurt him even slightly. This fact makes Kaizen recognize Goku as an incredible warrior with enormous potential, reminding him of a past rival. Though their fighting styles differ, both share the same fiery passion and pride, ready to face any opponent regardless of who or what they are. These similarities run deeper than they appear. Kaizen expresses a hope to face all of them, Goku, Vegeta, and others, in the upcoming official tournament, once they've fully mastered cosmic energy. Glancing towards the stands, he sees Goku signaling a gesture of disinterest, implying that while not all opponents inspire him, some do. This slight comment stings the pride of the Saiyan raised on Earth, who feels he achieved nothing against Kaizen. He clenches his fists with fierce determination, resolved to increase his powers. The moment settles into silence, piquing Beerus's interest in Goku's unusually calm demeanor after the fight. Clearly, the power gap here is so vast that it reveals a different, more serious side of Goku. With that, the exhibition matches come to a close. It's announced that the official tournament will adopt the same one-on-one fight format, but this time with 5 opponents battling individually. The date, a full year away, gives all warriors ample time to prepare.
There is a heartfelt expression of gratitude towards the fighters from the fifth universe, and of course, to Mr. Ramus, who looks quite comfortable with how the contest unfolded. The kings of all universes bid farewell, leaving their arenas ready and waiting for future battles, soon to be held in Ramus's ring. And so, on the eve of this new tournament, one in which the universes will wager their bets on possible winners, Goku and the others stand on the brink of an overwhelming challenge. The unimaginable power of those who wield cosmic energy is truly awe-inspiring. With an entire year to master this incredible force, the journey of training begins. The great priest himself steps in to guide the 5 chosen mortals on their next phase of training, marking a pivotal moment in their evolution. This wraps up the first movie. I'll be bringing you the second season as soon as possible. If this video reaches 600 likes, it would mean a lot. Thank you so much for sticking with me this far. See you next time, whether it's with a new movie or epic battles.